Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Fieldrunners 2. So if you've been a long-time fan of the channel, or at least a medium-time fan of the channel, you're probably familiar with the Fieldrunners series, as I did a Let's Look at of Fieldrunners 1 when it came to Steam. I think in the midpoint of last year. It was like May of last year when it came out on Steam. But Fieldrunners is also fairly well known as a very premier kind of mobile tower defense franchise. Like, I believe it set itself up on the iOS store normally. So this has been available, Fieldrunners 2 has been available on mobile for quite some time, but it is now available on Steam for the fairly premium price of $8.99 in its first week, or $10 normally on Steam if you're interested in playing it. So we're going to get started here, and I'm going to explain that why, despite the price, I do feel that Fieldrunners 2 is actually a fairly quality tower defense game. Those of you who watch the channel a lot, watch a lot of Let's Look Ats, probably know that I am pretty sick of tower defense games, but I will say that if I was going to be playing a new tower defense game in 2013, it would probably be this one. So this is the world map for Fieldrunners 2, basically. We started with some training missions up here around our barracks, or whatever fort that is, and I guess we're going to progress, you know, standard Mario style through the forest, eventually into the desert, and then Bowser's Castle, of course, at the end here. So these flags that you can see are levels that I have already done. So I've already done this one right here, Clonehenge. I've already done, what's this one? Twist of Fate. And actually, by looking at these maps, you can kind of get a feel for one of the things I like about Fieldrunners 2, and that's, there's a lot of variety, not only in the level design, but also in kind of the scope of the missions, or what you have to do in the missions. So Twist of Fate is kind of interesting because we don't actually build our own maze. It has kind of like a pre-programmed maze already built in for us. That's multi-tiered, so, you know, there's bridges where units go under and then come over the overpass, and your towers can hit them at, like, different levels. But if we look at Clonehenge, this is one where basically we are building our own maze. So there is a little bit of a mixture between, like, preordained mazes that you have to just basically slot turrets in, almost fill in the blank style, and ones where you have to build your own maze, which typically I am much, much worse at, because apparently I still do not understand the main conceptual hook for building your own maze. Like, I still suck at it. There's also levels, don't worry, I'm going to get into some actual tower defensing pretty soon, but there's levels like this one, Speedhenge, which I absolutely suck at. On this level, as you can see, it's basically just like a blank slate. But what we have to do is kill like 150 enemies, or X number of enemies, within 2.5 minutes, and I have never been able to succeed. I tried this one like 4 times. Every other mission I've been able to do on my first try. But we're going to go with a standard mission here, Home on Derange. Is that really the only mission available to me right now? Yes, I guess it is. So this is one we're going to have to build our own maze, which should be interesting. So of the 3 difficulties, there's Casual, Tough, and Heroic. I have been playing on Tough. Casual, I think, would be super boring. Tough hasn't been too hard so far, with that one exception of Speedhenge. So far, Tough has provided a pretty good challenge while still, you know, keeping me interested but not frustrated. So we do have a variety of towers to choose from. Right now I have my arsenal consisting of a Gatling gun, which is just like your standard machine gun turret, Glue Turret, which is like a slowing tower, Missile, which is like splash damage that comes like in discrete intervals, like one big explosion, a Laser Turret, which I have not actually put down in combat yet, a Flamethrower Turret, which does huge area of effect damage, particularly to unarmored targets, and a Tesla Turret, which does huge single target damage, but it comes at a substantial cost here, as you can see. We also have some other turrets we can use now. I unlocked some very recently. Oil Tower slows groups of enemies. That seems way more effective than the existing Glue Tower that is only a single target slow. And there's also ones that we can buy for coins that you earn in missions, but I have not earned nearly enough coins in my like hour and a half of play so far to buy any. The other ones are unlocked with stars, and stars are things that you earn for beating levels, essentially. So if you do well on a level, you could earn 2 stars. If you do poorly, you might only earn 1. In addition to this, we also have items that we can buy. So I could use my coins to buy, for example, a Smart Mine. So by equipping the Smart Mine, sadly, we only get 1 of them. But I can basically just drop a bomb on a group of enemies that are about to go through to the exit, and it'll explode them all. Do a lot of damage to each of them, and we'll get some money and probably survive a little bit longer. So we're going to pause it as soon as we get in here, and I'll explain a little bit about the Fieldrunners 2 interface. But odds are, if you've ever seen Fieldrunners before, or any tower defense game before, you are going to understand what you're looking at fairly quickly. So here's our briefing. After Broken Branch, which was the last mission we did, I guess they ran out of shovels. Nothing here but grass cows and insane invading clones. Is that Dolly? I guess there must be a sheep at some point in this level. So all our goal is here is to stop the invasion and survive the rounds. And these levels are fairly long. We can't see how many rounds there are yet, but once we get started, we will. So we can see if we pause the game that there are 2 waves of enemies that are going to be going this way. And our goal, we only start with $15, which is not a lot, but we're going to be trying to create a maze which is going to stop these guys from going through. So I'm going to try to like create a winding path that is going to send both of these guys along the same lines so that all of my targets have the ability to hit them and I don't spread out my ability to do damage, if that makes sense. So we're going to put one here, and one here. And we're going to start just by basically increasing the maximum surface area and distance that these guys have to walk so that they are going to get hit. So we're just going to get started here. As always, the waves will start very, very slow. And then we'll get much, much harder as we go along. So there are 70 rounds here. Don't worry, we're going to fast forward through several of them. But it's important to point out that this is a game where there is a substantial amount. Like, every level is fairly long. At least 15 minutes, even with fast forward on most of the time. So my number one priority, just as we get started here, is going to be... oh, come on, make sure you get those kills. Good. Is going to be building this maze, essentially. Because I want to make sure that that is in place so that no enemies can really sneak by. But we can also upgrade our towers. It's a very simplistic game. If you've ever played any tower defense games before, you're going to be familiar with all of the basic mechanics here. So again, we're going to pop down a tower there. And I think we're going to give this tower an upgrade. They actually caution you in the game that upgrading towers is way better than buying individual towers most of the time. But the exception, of course, is when you're using those towers kind of like structurally to actually build a maze. So again, we're probably just going to put down another... tower like this, and we're basically just going to create a huge maze that these guys are going to have to go through. I'll probably stop pausing it fairly soon, because I think you guys are basically getting the point, but we'll just get started here. And we're going to keep the game on fast forward for at least the early part of the game here, because it should be fairly easy for us to basically just rack up a bunch of points. I'm going to keep this space open for now, because I want to pop down some other kind of turret there eventually. But rest assured that I will close off that path eventually. So why don't we create an oil turret here? This will slow groups of enemies, which is way better than the glue target that I was using earlier. And definitely the key to success... Oh, we're having some problems here. The key to success is maximizing kind of turret variety in order to ensure that you have the ability to deal with all the enemies coming at you. Of course, we will sell some of these Gatling gun turrets to buy more higher value turrets as we move on. We'll just pause for a second because I was getting a little bit overwhelmed. So I'm going to upgrade this turret to max level, upgrade this turret to max level, and why not upgrade... How much does this cost? 10 bucks, too much. We'll upgrade our oil turret again in a second, but for now we'll just upgrade this turret like so. We've got a fairly good maze going so far, but I expect that this level is going to get harder fairly quickly. Also, we do have flying enemies, of course, that can simply fly over absolutely everything. We're going to have to put some turrets down to deal with that. Because otherwise, flying enemies are going to get all the way through. By the way, if I pause here, you can see there's a ton of enemies. But if this heart up here in the top right corner represents how many enemies can get through to the end before we die. So if 20 enemies get through to the end, then we lose. Also, this blimp basically allows us to clear a wave instantly, but we have to earn it by killing waves. I think maybe once every 3 missions this will charge up. And additionally, we can use a smart mine if things get rough. But I think for now, it's pretty good. So I might pause midway through this wave again just to set up like another... turret, keep my maze going here. There we go. That's gonna like really maximize the surface area that these guys have to deal with. And again, I'm just building the structure of the maze for now because we can always fill it in later once we get more income stream basically through these guys. Alright, so we got 20 again. Why don't we put down a missile turret? Oh, I can't put one. I would love to put one down there, but instead we'll just put one down here. This is going to be a fairly good choke point, I think, as things go along, because this is going to be a bend in the road. Always want to put down your, like, high damage turrets at bends, so you get, like, maximum surface area, I think. And we're just going to upgrade our missile turret, because for now, everything has been going pretty goddamn well for us, and I feel like we're relatively safe in our current position. Put down another, just Gatling gun turret, basically for structural integrity there. And this is going to be a little close, a little touch and go. Maybe we should pause it and put down some more turrets. I definitely want... We should actually upgrade our oil turret first. And then maybe save up. Because you want to make sure your slow turrets are upgraded as well, because that's going to allow you to do more damage over time, essentially. Now, the waves vary in terms of difficulty. They usually, like the early waves of every 10s are easy enough. That was kind of close. But they get more and more difficult as time goes on, as you might expect. So, for example, I'm going to upgrade this to level 3 for now, and maybe upgrade our missile turret again. But, like, rounds like 11, 12, 13, 14 tend to be fairly easy, but then every 10th round is exceptionally difficult. It's almost like a boss round, where you're going to be dealing with some, usually, like, fewer targets, but they're going to be very, very high HP. Alright, so we do have 20. We could upgrade our missile turret to level 3, but I'm going to start to try to put down some flame turrets, actually, because these have the capability to do huge amounts of damage, which is absolutely what we are going to need moving forward. And then I will work on building the structure of our maze moving forwards. It's actually getting fairly close here. I might want to use a cluster bomb in order to try to take out as many of these guys as possible. So let's just drop one in like this. And then play. Alright, that didn't allow... 2 of these guys are still going to get through, but that's okay. Unfortunately, we're going to have to basically let that happen. Just going to do a quick upgrade to these guys here in the hopes that that won't happen again. We're going to be dealing with some new units here. I've actually never seen these guys before, so I don't know what their deal is overall. Looks like they can take a decent amount of damage, but we should still probably be able to survive here. Oh man, this is not going well. In any case, we can revise our progress by perhaps selling this one right here. And popping down a... Oh, God! I almost opened up a huge seam there. Popping down a flamethrower turret, which is going to be able to do a huge amount of damage to these guys as they come out, and then again as they come through the second segment right here. And we're probably going to try to upgrade that as soon as possible. We should also continue onwards with our maze, I think, because enemies are actually getting through. So we want to, again, just create like a structure here to maximize the amount of time that they have to spend in our maze. Because previously, once they got like through here, they were out of the system, which is obviously what we don't want. So I'm just going to try to keep them here. We do have some helicopters coming through, but I don't think they're going to make it. And we're going to try to upgrade our flamethrower turret after this, which again will just give us a substantial amount of damage. It might not be a bad idea to throw down some laser turrets in these corridors either. These biplanes are really fast, but also really low HP, so they should be really easy for us to take out with our current maze design. Yeah, I think we should put down a laser turret like right here. And what this is going to allow us to do is basically hit like a line of enemies as they come. The range is pretty low, but that's okay because we're going to build the maze in such a way that they basically have to walk by the laser turret in order to get out. And maybe we'll put a... Oh, you know what? We should sell this one. Put a rocket turret here where it can hit the maximum amount of enemies, and then put a Gatling turret here. And after this wave, we'll pause it because, as is right now, it's getting a little hectic. We're still not even a third of the way through the level, so like I said, there is a fairly substantial... Actually, you know what we should do? We should sell this again. Losing a little bit of money on these. Oh, wait, that was... We had to put one there. Whatever. It's okay. We should, Yeah, this is perfectly designed, I think, to keep them in the laser turret. And we're just going to put another one, like, right here to force them to walk through. And again, we're going to push them through the column, going the other way. So why don't we... Yeah, put one here. One here. We'll throw down another oil turret here. And then another Gatling turret here. Should force them back into the maze. Basically playing completely into our hands. So we can probably let this go for a while. I think we're going to generate a lot of money. I would love to get to the 3rd level flamethrower because that is basically, in my experience so far, that's been the main indicator or main factor in my success. And yeah, these guys are absolutely getting screwed. That laser turret is doing a lot of good stuff for us. But again, every 10, it gets substantially harder. So don't be surprised if I start letting some enemies through a little bit later. We've already let 4 through, which is way more than I should by this point of the game because it does get exponentially more difficult within each round. And we should really start upgrading these Gatling gun turrets as well, considering that every enemy has to walk by them. They're low damage, but they're also low cost, so it's good for us. They basically make up the walls of our maze. They're not going to do the most damage, but the ability to hit multiple targets is essential as we get a little bit further and further along. So we got 24 left. We should probably upgrade our oil turrets again. A lot of them are already at max, which is good. It's hard to balance. This is the balance in tower defense games that often gets me. I'm dog shit at tower defense games. It might seem like I know what I'm doing, but largely the only reason I know what I'm doing is because I played so many 4 Let's Look Ats in recent memory, you know, over the past year or so that I have a fairly good idea of how things work now. But still, I'm pretty bad. And again, Fieldrunners, like the first video, or the video I did of the first game, was one of those videos where people just... like ragged on me. They're like, oh my god, Northernlion, you are the worst tower defense player I've ever seen in my life. We're gonna pause for just a second here, and I'm gonna sell this turret, and I'm gonna pop down another flamethrower, which should allow me to do a ton of damage to these enemies coming through. Again, I'm pretty pleased with things so far, but keep in mind that we are not even halfway through the level so far. And I dig that the levels are fairly long, but also it makes this less of a casual experience, which I think is kind of a detriment for something like a tower defense game, which most of the time you know, is defined by its ability to be played in short bursts. I don't know how you would play these games on mobile. I mean, you can save midway through a mission, but still, there's an awful lot of time that needs to be invested in each mission. Like I said, played about an hour and a half, and you saw how many missions I'd done, only like 3 or 4. So there, especially if you don't play on fast forward, these levels are going to take you a long damn time. So we're going to upgrade our flamethrower here, and we're going to try to get that to level 3 as well, because basically, anything that comes through those 2 flamethrowers in the middle is going to get absolutely screwed if they are both level 3. Laser turret is doing a lot of good stuff for us as well. Again, the key to success is largely getting a variety of turrets that will aid and abet you in whatever situation you're in. We're just going to pause, actually, because I think this guy might actually make his way through. So we're just going to try to lengthen the maze just a little bit so he gets hit more by these turrets right here. And hopefully he'll be taken down. Although these turrets that I'm sending him through are pretty weak. I think he's actually going to get through. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But again, that's the first guy we've let through in a little while, so that's okay. Our maze is looking pretty good. It's better than the maze that I built in that first Fieldrunners video. Where I basically ate shit for not knowing anything about tower defense games. What can I say? A lot can change in 6 months. I've played a ton of tower defense games since then. Trenched. What was that one? Shadow, with the weird spelling of Shadow. There's been several anyway. We don't necessarily need to go into all of them. There's our 3rd level flamethrower, and we've let 25% of the enemies that we possibly can through about halfway through the mission. So that's probably fairly okay, although like I said, enemies get more and more difficult as time goes on. So we're going to be a little bit wary about that moving forwards, especially with a mixture of flying and moving enemies, or terrestrial enemies perhaps is a better way to put it. I think we should just send out some more laser turrets, but we should also seriously upgrade these Gatling guns, because right now there's a lot of wasted potential here, I think. I mean, it'll make our maze technically smaller in the whole scheme of things. Also, the frame rate issues that you might be seeing occasionally are a result of the computer, not a result of the game itself. The game itself runs fine, as you might imagine, for a game that's not very graphically intensive like this. Although I will say the game looks pretty good. The one thing that is important to note in this video, for a lot of people, is probably going to be what differentiates Fieldrunners 2 from Fieldrunners 1. And the answer to that question is I honestly don't know. Like, I went on the game developer's website, and it didn't really have, like, a comparison between Fieldrunners 1 and Fieldrunners 2. But it basically, as far as I can tell, this has more hand-drawn levels. They said revolutionary new levels that mix up planes, so that's exactly what I said with the, like, overpass and the bridges and stuff. I don't know if I'd necessarily go so far as to call that revolutionary, but, you know, I appreciate them at least having faith in their product. So we're going to continue. I just paused the game briefly as we get to the halfway point here to upgrade a bunch of these turrets. And it seems like we're doing a lot better with these turrets upgraded. So I'm probably going to upgrade this whole... Actually, are these only 30? Yeah, we should maybe get the laser turret upgraded as well. And next thing I'm going to do is probably, because we're making a lot of money, I'll probably... Oh, we got our blimp charged up anyway. So when we get a really hard wave, I'll use that blimp in order to destroy a whole wave when it looks like a lot of enemies are going to get through. So far, so good with respect to our new Gatling gun turrets, keeping enemies from making their way through. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. Continue upgrading the Gatling guns, continue upgrading the laser turrets, or build the maze more. Wow, I can't believe that guy got through. Or continue building the maze more so that we can succeed. Oh, man, we got 2 more biplanes got through. Wow, so, okay, so we're down to 12. I feel like that means we should upgrade these Gatling guns a little bit more. They got through with so little health that I feel like if these Gatling guns just got more of a chance to fire, we would have been okay. We should also definitely upgrade our missile turret there. We should probably put down more missile turrets as well, because they're really good against aerial targets, in my limited amount of experience so far. I'm worried that we might not actually have a chance for success here, but we've got to really string together some good runs here. And particularly round 40 is going to be a big predictor of our success. If we do really well there, that's going to be awesome. If we don't do so well, then we might find ourselves in a difficult position moving forward. So I think we should get our 3rd level missile turret up. We should probably pop down another missile turret right here in case we have to deal with any more aerial targets. And we do. This is going to be a big test. Yeah, our biplanes have gone down, which is good. Excellent. I think our upgraded system is making it more difficult for the biplanes to succeed, which is better for us because those aerial enemies can be a serious pain in the ass. There's our laser turret upgraded. Its range is pretty solid. And we are fairly safe. Again, we should probably continue building our maze a little bit more down here. But I want to throw down some more, like, high-damage turrets as well. Please don't let the biplanes through. Oh, my God, that last missile. Okay, we're going to pause for a second. And I'm going to drop another missile turret right here, which I hope is going to be able to protect me from this wave of biplanes that's incoming. Oh, man, we ended up letting another 2 through. I can't really do anything about it. I could sell a few turrets and put some more Gatling gun turrets down here, but I don't know if that's going to be... It's going to destroy our maze. Is it really worth it? Like, all of the biplanes are getting through. That's a serious problem for us moving forwards. Like, on land, we're doing totally fine, but in the air, we're getting the shit kicked out of us, unfortunately. And since we only have 6 more enemies that can get through, like I said, round 40 is going to be a big predictor of our success. I think we might end up failing this mission, so... Kind of lends credence to the notion that I said earlier that, you know, the tough difficulty is actually fairly difficult, which I appreciate, because a lot of tower defense games err on the side of being a little bit too easy, which I don't necessarily appreciate. We do have to build more of a maze here, or this guy is absolutely going to get through. So we're just going to stick with that and hope that that is going to destroy him by forcing him to go through a few more turrets and missiles. Oh my god, he's going to get through too. Bad run so far. At round 40, like at halfway through the game, we'd only let 5 through. Now, like 40/70ths of the way through, or 4/7, I guess is technically the best way to reduce that. We've let like 75% of them through, so it's been a bad run for us. We do still hold this blimp. If things become incredibly dire, that's going to be absolutely necessary for us to use. If I end up losing, what's my main problem here? I think the fact that I just created way too many like level 1 Gatling gun turrets, and that's making it very difficult for me to handle these guys. Probably should put down some more oil turrets as well. But I kind of feel like more flamethrowers is also a potential answer here. So I'm trying to save a little bit of money as we move forwards. Probably also... Oh my god, don't let the biplanes through, you scumbags. Alright, we're going to have to upgrade these for sure. And this is the principal conflict in any tower defense game, is I want to upgrade absolutely everything, but unfortunately, I obviously do not have the money to do that. Please just kill one of them. Nope, alright, that's cool. We have $10 now. Let's upgrade our Gatling guns a little bit more. Although I'm pretty sure we're actually going to die in a second here. If we end up failing this mission, I'll show off Speedhenge, that mission that I continue to fail over and over and over again. So that at least we'll get a little bit more variety in this episode. I intended on only showing off one level, because as you can see, they, you know, do take a long time to complete. However, you know, if we end up failing this one at like round 50 or something, wouldn't hurt to show off an extra 2.5 minutes of gameplay. Just to show off the kind of variety you can get here. I mean, the inevitable question in this video is it worth paying $10 for a tower defense game? And the answer for me to that question is a fairly resounding no. But I also feel like if you're into tower defense games, this is the one that you should be playing right now, because it's the one that I've had the most fun with, at least in my recent memory. The other thing we could probably do to increase our chances of killing these killing these aerial targets is increasing our number of oil turrets. But I don't know, man. I'm feeling like we're basically effed here if we get more biplanes. I mean, if one more enemy gets through, that's the end. So I'm really watching out for some biplanes, and if any enemy gets close to the end, I absolutely have to fire this Hindenburg, basically, that's going to destroy absolutely everything in its wake. Do we have these all upgraded? We've got them fairly well upgraded, but I don't know. The flamethrowers are not doing as much damage as I expected them to do. So, in terms of my chances of success, I'd give myself like a 10% chance of success. It's going to take some serious luck, basically, in order to succeed. We might as well upgrade these missile turrets, because those are going to be our last line of defense against the flying targets. The problem is that the biplanes are just so damn fast, and I don't really have a slowing turret like in this region to take care of them. So it's actually, one thing I should have done a long time ago is probably sell this, and then we will put up a oil turret here, which probably would have saved me like 15 enemies getting through. Alas, you know, we're already, you know, what's done is done, essentially. And here come the biplanes. We're gonna see. Should probably slow it down just to see. Well, we killed those ones, which is good. There's gonna be more coming, obviously. But for now, I feel a little bit more confident in our situation. We're obviously just going to upgrade our oil turrets, so it'll increase the slow. Usually, upgrading turrets increases the damage, the rate of fire, or the, you know, the effect of the output, like the oil, for example. Because I don't believe the oil turrets actually do any damage. We'll get our 3rd level there. I was going to say 3rd level Meat Boy, but that wouldn't have really been accurate. So what do we upgrade next? This is a good question. We can focus on buying some more turrets. It might be a good idea to, like, save up for a Tesla turret and just kind of put it down in the middle here so it can zap targets that end up getting by. Because a lot of my deaths, basically, or my damage has been coming from enemies that have, like, 2% health just getting through to the end. It's going to take us a long time to get the money necessary. We're barely halfway there once we kill this enemy here. But it might be worth it. And again, that oil target, or oil turret, is really helping us against these biplanes. If I'd only thrown down like a $20 level 1 oil turret earlier, we would have been in a much better position, I think. Because, yeah, that is really solving that problem entirely. But round 50 is going to be an interesting one. We've done okay since round 40. Not very well, but okay. And we do have $70, so I think it's in our best interest to just basically pop down a Tesla turret in the hopes that this will get enemies that are coming after us. It has very low range, but as single enemies like walk or fly through here, hopefully it does an incredible amount of damage, because it did cost us a lot of money. So here we go. We're going to see if we are capable of surviving this round. Remember, I could also use our Hindenburg explosion as well. Oh, we've got a weird little, like, turtle van here in the sky. Sky turtle van. I think we're going to be able to kill it. Otherwise, we might have to rely on the Tesla turret. Come on, Tesla turret. Don't make me use the blimp. It's not going to get it? Oh, it barely got it. Okay. I'm definitely going to upgrade that Tesla turret. That was surprisingly tough. We should toss down another laser turret maybe here as well. But first things first, we're going to upgrade the Tesla turret, which only costs 50. I thought it would be more than that. Usually, it's like 75% of the cost of the actual tower itself, which is why upgrading is beneficial, because it's basically like getting 2 towers, at least damage output-wise, instead of 1. I believe, anyway. I don't have mathematical proof to back that up, but that's my anecdotal evidence turning into a hunch there. Alright, a couple of these guys might get through. It's up to the Tesla turret. We're going to slow it down a little bit here. Come on, Tesla. Don't let me down. Nice, okay. That was a quality pickup. That saved me here. We've only got 19 rounds left to go. I mean, 19 is actually kind of a lot. But maybe we will get lucky here. Okay, so I do want to throw down another laser turret, which, again, will minimize the load on this Tesla turret. We got some more enemies here, too. I think it's a medic, which worries me. We're going to make sure these helicopters die, because right now it's looking a little touch and go. I think we're going to need to use our, unless the Tesla turret can absolutely destroy it here. I think we're going to need to use the Hindenburg, unfortunately. So we're going to fire this. Okay, it did destroy absolutely everything. I hated to do that, because now we're, you know, basically just flying by the seat of our pants. And with these enemies coming in, I definitely want to upgrade our Gatling gun turrets, because we absolutely need to kill these 2 guys, or that'll be the end. And we're not doing very much damage to the one behind it. Although I think, oh, it's all going to come down to that recently upgraded Tesla turret. Come on, you can do it. I've given you a huge advantage. Oh, fairly close. Okay, so I think next step, laser... Actually, we should probably throw down some more slows in the middle. Because those aerial targets are still causing huge problems. Maybe, like, replace this Gatling gun with another slowing turret. But then we're doing less damage in, like, the middle of our maze, which is also a problem. I don't know. This is, again, why I think Fieldrunners 2 is actually a fairly fun experience, because you're always forced to make that trade-off. A lot of tower defense games do that, I'll admit. But in terms of, like, single-player tower defense games, because I'm excluding Tower Wars here, which was actually excellent if you have a lot of friends to play it with, but single-player-wise was basically nothing at all. Yeah, this is why I think this is actually a fairly engaging single-player tower defense experience, despite the fact that it's really conventional. It's conventional, it's like a pure tower defense game, but, you know, I can kind of get behind that. I kind of like it. So I don't know what's up with these medic guys. When they die, maybe they heal the units around them, or maybe they just heal the units around them regardless. Where would I put a slowing target if I was to put a slowing target? Maybe they just have way more health. That's the way it seems. I'm going to pause for a second because we have 45. I could toss a laser down here. That'll do decent damage to these enemies coming through this corridor here. Is this guy already level 3? Yes, he is. But I also need something to deal with aerial targets. I guess for now I'm just going to rely on the Tesla turret to take care of it. But that worries me a little bit. As you can see, there's like some genuine... Oh, we're going to lose here, I think. Oh, the biplanes, thank you for being so weak. There's some, like, genuine strategy involved and genuine, like, tension when it comes time to figure out if you're going to succeed. I really like that. Certainly, I would never say that this has the same kind of, like, strategic element as XCOM or anything like that, and I realize there are free tower defense games that you can get on the internet. But still, alright, that laser turret turned out to be a pretty good investment. Now, we're just going to see if there's flying. I don't think there's any flying enemies, so I'm just going to dump in some... upgrade points into our laser turret, basically. And call me crazy, but as time goes on here, I think I have a better chance of victory than I did a little earlier in the game. I'm just going to toss down an oil turret, basically like right here, to try to slow down enemies. And the next thing I'll probably do is drop a missile turret, like in the middle, for any flying units that happen to get by. And if I can get a fully upgraded missile turret in there that has decent range, I think we'll be in a better position than you might expect. So our lasers are doing decent damage here. Again, round 60 is going to be where things truly come to a head if we actually make it to round 60, which of course is all up in the air like a George Clooney movie right now. So we're going to put our missile turret like right here. That's going to have good range. And we're really going to be relying on the Tesla turret to be able to kill these guys now. You can do it. I have faith in you. Oh man, I was holding my breath there at the end. The reason I put the missile turret here instead of, like, over here is because, like, the flying enemies absolutely have to go through this straight path. I realize that the walking enemies don't, but that's okay. We could try to, like, reroute the enemies, like, create more of a maze again, and, like, for example, I'm gonna get some more money here, hopefully, in a second. There we go. Like, push them through this way, which will, I think, keep them in the range of the Tesla turret a little bit longer. This might be the best thing that we can do with our limited amount of money right now. But the next thing we're going to focus on for sure is upgrading this missile turret in the middle. Tesla turret's already at max capacity. A second Tesla turret would probably be a great idea as well, but we're not going to get the money for that. Here comes the moment of truth. Slow it down a little bit. Thank you, missile turrets. Tesla turret, do your job. Thank you. Oh, man. All right. This is proving surprisingly tense as we get close to the end. A little bit anxiety-inducing. I expected this to be fairly easy, to be honest with you. I expected the whole game to be fairly easy, but that's not the way that it has worked out. I found things much more difficult than I expected. So we're going to fast forward again, because I'm reasonably confident that we're going to be able to take out all these enemies as they make their way towards the end. More flamethrower targets wouldn't be a bad idea either, or just building our maze a little bit further to force enemies to, like, kind of hang around that Tesla turret and missile launcher a little bit longer. But for now, I'm reasonably confident in the way things are going. This missile turret is now going to be level 3. We're going to be inching ever towards that, oh, here's a big moment for us. Tesla turret, you got to do some big stuff here. Thank you. And again, this one's going to be a little harder. Made it happen. Oh, I don't know how sustainable this is the thing. Again, might want to increase my maze ability here so that they don't just fly straight. Instead, they have to do like a little zigzag around the Tesla coil so that it can hit them more often. So you know what? Let's build our maze out a little bit further. We kind of want to do it like this, almost. Like that. And then down. We want to make sure they can't go through here. So like this. And then we're going to try to make them do like a little zigzag. These Gatling guns are going to do basically no damage. But at least we've kind of forced them to stay in the range of the missile launcher a little bit longer, and in the range of the oil a little bit longer, which might help us out a great deal as we prepare for round 60, which is going to be a problem. We are absolutely not going to have a blimp for round 60. There's no question about that. I don't know what's up with those medics, but we're taking them out fairly quickly. Laser turrets were a good idea, I would say. We could upgrade our laser turret, but we're not really worried about, you know, land-moving soldiers right now. It's almost entirely the aerial soldiers that are causing us some problems, or aerial vehicles, I guess. So we do have more oil turrets we could put down. We could build our maze out a little bit further, which is probably a smart idea. Let's go like so, I think is the, oh, okay, we'll block this. Oh, Tesla, throw it! Oh, that was so close. I wasn't even paying attention. I still had it on fast forward. Yeah, so like this, I think, is the right way to do things. Now, this is going to be a big moment for us, so I'm going to take fast forward off. Just so we can see if we can take out that big turtle van in the sky, which has been historically pretty close for us. I've got a lot of Gatling guns and a lot of missile turrets now. I think this is going to be the end for us, actually. Yeah, we just can't deal with that multi-target aerial stuff. Like 3 or 4 of them are going to get through here, even if the Tesla coil tries to do its job. I think we're basically effed. Unless we get incredibly lucky. No, I don't think it's going to be nearly enough. Only one got through, though, but still, that is going to be our death. So yeah, consider this. Fieldrunners 2, harder than Dark Souls. Well, maybe not. That's going to be defeat for us. We might still get some coins for it. We're going to finish, not retry right now. Do we get anything for it? No. All right. We get a score. Not a very good score, but a score nonetheless. And I think that's going to do it for my Let's Look At Fieldrunners 2. It's kind of weird to do a Let's Look At for a like standalone tower defense game in 2013, because I feel like everybody has already played the shit out of this genre. Suffice it to say, much to my surprise, I found myself enjoying Fieldrunners 2 to a great degree. I'm probably not going to spend too much more time with it off camera, but I could see it being a good time waster. Only sticking point is the fact that the game is $10, which is probably a little bit too expensive for what is a fairly traditional and ordinary tower defense game. But, you know, it looks nice. It plays nice, and if you're in the market for a pure tower defense game, consider this consider picking this up on Steam or on mobile if you know, have a life that is full of a lot of long bus and subway rides. But in any case, this is Fieldrunners 2. Consider this a surprising thumbs up from me, despite the price. But in any case, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.